Hey guys, Trump here, back with another video, and today I'm going to do my hero deck profile again because over Christmas I did get some cards and it's a bit updated. Also, I got this brand new lovely game mat. It's the Chibi Duelist Kingdom Yugi with Chibi Gaia, Chibi Yugi, and Chibi Dark Magician, and it looks awesome. So, let's get right into it. So, to start off the hero deck, we've got the first hero card, and that is my one copy of Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. Now this is like the best card in the deck, well the main deck that is, and I only have one copy because I actually only own one in real life. If you don't know what Solid Soldier does, is when you normal summon him, you're allowed another special summon of any other form of hero, whether that be Elemental, Vision, or Destiny. I do believe, hold on a second, yeah, it has to be level 4 or lower. But when you summon this guy, you could say special summon a Wild Heart. What also makes it super good is that if it gets taken off of the field via a spell card effect, you can target a hero in your grave, except the Solid Soldier, of course, and add that to your hand. So the reason that that is so good is that this has no restrictions on level, attribute, or hero type. It can be any form of hero, any level, and you can just bring it back to your hand. And obviously, if that happens to be a fusion monster, you can put it back into your extra deck as well. Next up, we have the second elemental hero monster. I think there's 3, and this is another earth attribute. Oh yeah, by the way, my hands, they're not very well. But anyway, Elemental Hero Wildheart, I've got one copy I'm running him at. It's basically because I have the masked hero that's Earth attribute, so I want to be getting it as much as possible. So you might be thinking, well, why only 2? I have plenty of search power and whatnot, so 2 is enough. And why Wildheart? Well, because he's unaffected by traps, he's just a bit of a tricky monster to deal with when they're going for like full board wipes with things like Drowning, Mirror Force. This guy's going to be a bit of a tricky situation, and he's not affected, so he can still stay around. And he's level 4, so he fits the category for most special summons, so he can easily be brought out, and he is a warrior as well. So he's just going to be able to get special summoned by pretty much everything. And he's just a nice monster to have. 1500's nothing to be laughed at. It's not amazing, but it's definitely not terrible. And it's quite solid. Next up we have the next elemental hero, which is Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This is also the last elemental hero. I'm running it at 3 copies. However, if you do have more Solid Soldier, feel free to drop this down and up that, because like I said before, there's a lot of search, so you're never going to be in short supply of Shadow Mist. What Shadow Mist does is when it's special summoned, you get to add Mask Change to your hand from your deck. And obviously, with the Solid Soldier, if you play your Solid Soldier and special summon the Shadow Mist, that's an instant free Mask Change. And Mask Change can be activated that turn. It's also quick play. So, oh, and you only need 1 monster, and then you have the choice of your Earth or Dark, and I'm only running those masked heroes, the Earth and Dark type, attributes, sorry. So that means, with this 1 card started combo, you get 2 monsters and access to all the masked heroes in your extra deck. So that is really cool. Also, as well as the add mask change when special summoned. Hang on. If this card's sent to the graveyard, you can add a hero from your deck to your hand. So it's an instant search for any form of hero. What makes this really good as well is if it's just sent to the graveyard. So this can be sent there by yourself. So say if you used this guy, special summon Shadow Mist, add your mask change. If you use Mask Change on Shadow Mist, you're going to be able to get a free search. If you use it on Solid Soldier, because it was a spell card, you get to special summon another hero from the grave. Sorry, no. Oh no, you do. You get to special summon a hero in your grave, not add it to your hand. So you get either a special summon or a search from literally just playing 2 cards and getting a fusion. So nothing's wrong there. You're getting 2 summons, a fusion, and then you're getting a buff because of the fusion. It's literally the perfect play. And honestly, you want to be searching out Solid Soldier and Shadow Mist as often as possible because they are the 2 cards that get you the really good plays. Now, next up I have Neos Space Connector. I do have a Neos Fusion, but I have no Neos Fusion monsters to use it with. So I'm just running the Neos Space Connector. No Neos. You might be thinking, well, why? I am running a Neospatium monster. But basically, the Neospatium monster was taking up the normal summon, and oftentimes that was a bit irritating because it's good removal, but then you've not got a normal summon for the turn, say if you wanted to do the whole Solid Soldier thing, but it wouldn't be able to do it without a piece of removal, so you need the removal. And then you're kind of left open. So what this Neospace Connector does is it kind of gets it more consistent, and it allows you to get the second monster out. On top of that, it can tribute itself and bring out a Neospatium from the grave. And on top of that, even if you have this and you don't need the removal, you just need something strong, you can use this, get the special summon, that's 2 monsters on the field, and you can go straight for a Link summon. The Neospatium monster I'm running is Grand Mole. I'm pretty sure you'll have predicted it. But if this card, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can bounce this monster to your hand and their monster to their hand. The reason this is really good is it does it before any damage is done. On top of that, it's not targeting at any point, so it allows it to get past a lot of effects where it's like can't be targeted by card effects. And it's also not destroyed, so it can stop things where it can't be destroyed by card effects. It's not tributing, so it can't be stopped by something that can't be tributed. It's just a really good form of removal in a level 3. The only downside to getting it out with Neo Space Connector is that it has to be defense. So you can't force out their you can't force the monsters to be bounced if you bring it out with Neo Space Connector. However, it is very good still, and I highly recommend this card. The amount of players who have not been expecting something and bring out like a Blue Eyes Twin Burst and have used too much bringing it out, you can just bounce it and then you're home free. So they are my Neospatian cards. Next up, the one and only Vision Hero, because Vision Heroes are too expensive. Vision Hero Vion. This gets to dump a hero from the deck, so you can do something like Malicious, which is obviously your best bet most of the time. And then you can banish a hero and add Polymerization. So it's just a great way to search out and get a pretty much free fusion. And you're mainly using it for just dumping a hero from the deck. Not much else to say. Good card, recommend running it. So then we have the level 1 Destiny heroes. We've got Dreamer, which goes to the grave. You can special summon it and like negate an attack and stop a Destiny hero from being destroyed. And also you get to special summon this guy. So it's basically 2 blocks from 1 graveyard effect. It's level 1, and you can send it to the graveyard with something like Vion. It's very good, obviously. And it's just something that's you can kind of hide away in your grave because not many people really experience Dreamer. On top of that, I've got 2 Disc Commanders. Honestly, this would probably be 2 Dreamers and 1 Disc Commander if I had that, but I don't, so it's 2 Disc Commanders. If you special summon this guy from the grave through Solid Soldier, Monster Reborn, and whatnot, you get to draw 2 cards. That's basically all. I mean, on top of that, it's a dark level 1 hero monster. But basically, that's just if you don't have anything that can just be revived and be super strong and win the day, you can draw 2 cards which can get you this thing that can save you. That's not all for Destiny Heroes. We've got Destiny Hero Celestial, another draw power 1 when it's in the grave. Also, it can destroy face-up spells if it attacks, if there are any. So that's stuff like Secret Village of the Spellcasters, if that's locking you out your spells. You can attack with Celestial, destroy the Secret Village of the Spellcasters and do 500 burn, which is... I don't see why that's there, but it's extra damage, so I'm not complaining. Got Destiny Hero Decider. This is another good one to run with Solid Soldier, because if you summon it at the end of the turn, you can get a level 4 from your grave back to your hand, so you could basically do Solid Soldier in this, bring this out, then you can get rid of the Solid Soldier with a spell, special summon a hero, and then at the end get Solid Soldier back to your hand and repeat the play again. On top of that, it can't be attacked by level 6 or higher, so this can throw off high-level decks like Red Eyes, Blue Eyes, and whatnot. It's not as good as it is in Duel Links, this effect, but it's still very good, and it can catch people off guard and save you a turn sometimes. And also, you can banish it from the grave and save yourself from effect damage if you are going against a Mystic Mine burn deck, if they're not ready to negate it, which isn't often, but if they're not ready to negate this, you can save yourself a bit of damage. We have Destiny Hero Defender. Literally, this is a 2700 defense on a level 4. Yes, they get to draw, but sometimes they can draw too much and run out of cards in their deck. And if they're like almost there, you can just push them over the edge. But basically what you want to do is just set this, have them crash into it, and then before they get to their draw phase and get the extra draw, you want to be wiping that up and getting out a Link Summon. That's why a lot of the Link Summons require just something generic, like 2 monsters, or 2 monsters with different names. It's just so you can get rid of this monster. I've got the Destiny Hero Dynatag, the hand trap that negates and does 1000 to each player, and does the 1000 buff. This is very good with one of the fusions, which is Dystopia, because then it can get rid of the 1000 buff and destroy a monster as well as its attack. And that's good because this attack buff wears off, so there's no point in not doing that. And then there are 2 Destiny Hero Malicious. Obviously, this is what you want to be mainly sending off to the graveyard, as you can it can banish itself and bring out the second copy, and then that can go into any form of fusion, link summon, synchro summon, and whatnot. I mean, I'm not running any synchro, so it won't be used for synchro, but if you want to change this up, you can obviously do that. And then, last Destiny Hero is Destiny Hero Plasma. You mainly use this because it negates like all monster effects, which is incredibly powerful. I think it's on your opponent's side as well. I mean, the equip is nice and the attack boost is nice, and when you've negated effects, battle damage does become important, but mainly it's just getting rid of 3 of yours and then negating effects. The only problem is that I've come in with it is because it negates the effects of face-up monsters whilst your opponent controls them. I brought them all out, and then they used Champion's Vigilance, which was such a bummer, and I'd used too many materials bringing it out. That's all the heroes, though, so into the generic monsters. We've got Junk Forward, no monsters you could special summon. Marauding Captain, got 2 of these. Another warrior that can special summon, so this can trigger effects of like Shadow Mist and get you the free mask change. So we got the special summons that can help you get into bigger monsters from your extra deck. Then there's Mathematician, who's like a Foolish Burial on legs. But then on top of that, if it gets destroyed in battle, you get to draw a card, which is nice. But yeah, it's basically just a Foolish Burial, this monster. But on a monster, so you can use it to go into a link summon like Predaplant Verte Anaconda or Ferocious Flame Swordsman. So into the spells, we've got 2 copies of E-Emergency Call, which is a hero-specific search card. We've got a Hero Lives, which is another hero-specific, but you don't want to run loads because it halves your life points. And that is a like a special summon kind of search. Then you've got Rota, another warrior-based search, which pretty much everything but Mathematician is. So these are these are all your search power, so you want to be spamming these out, and obviously there's 4, so you do get them quite often, and you do get the heroes that you want, like Solid Soldier, Shadow Mist, all them again. Don't need to keep repeating them. Let's just put these to the side. Then for our fusion spells, we've got 3 copies of Mask Change. If you're playing it right, and you've got like the whole Shadow Mist thing going on, and like the effects of Solid Soldier just keep spamming out, you can get like all your mask changes in one turn, and then keep using them throughout the battle phase to just keep changing the same hero into another hero. And yeah, you can really maximize on damage, and it allows for quick OTKs on unsuspecting players, or players who have maybe not gone full defense because it's early game and they don't think they're going to die to a hero player that fast. We're running a copy of Polymerization. This is a necessary if you're running Vion, because otherwise it's basically useless. So you can search this out with him, and it's uses fusion. You can use fusion materials from your hand, which is pretty exclusive to this card only in this deck, so that's why that's very useful. And then we've got Miracle Fusion, which can use materials from the grave. On top of that, that can be searched by certain monsters as well, like Predapont Verte Anaconda. Yes, I got that for Christmas. I got it in a dual overload box. I was very excited. So I'm maximizing my usage on Miracle Fusion. If you notice what's different, I've not got any of my light heroes. They are all in the side deck this time. I'm running a copy of Destiny Draw, discard a Destiny hero, draw 2 cards. That's why I'm running 2 Disc Commanders and a Dreamer and a Dynatag and 2 Malicious. They all benefit from being in the grave, and there's a lot of cards like Destiny Draw that like need to, or can, if they want, dump a hero. And obviously dumping any of them is a plus, and then you get like another plus from the actual effect, like draw 2. So like if you send Dreamer to the grave, you've got 2 blocks because you get the special summon and his effect, so that's 2 defenses and the +2 draws. That's just amazing. Monster Reborn, this can get you your big monsters back, or you can get an opponent's monster from the graveyard to stop them using an effect, and then use it for your own Link Summon or whatnot. It can also get things back like Disc Commander if you're going for a generic summon. Instead of just grabbing any monster, you can get +2 draw and then go into your big whatever you're going into. Warrior Returning Alive, this is basically just to recycle Shadow Mist and Solid Soldier exclusively, but you can use it on cards like Vion, I guess, but I don't tend to because my main play, again, is the Shadow Mist, and Solid Soldier just keep playing into themselves. Got Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, +300, that's really not helpful. The +300 hardly ever did anything. It's obviously second effect I'm using it for, which you can then see as, to get this card back, you can banish 2 warriors from your grave. Obviously some are good when they're banished. On top of that, if they're not, you can use DDR to fish them back out the banished pile. And you can use DDR on pretty much anything. You have to discard a card, and you can just special summon anything. So if you send like a masked hero to use for Phoenix Blade to get that back to your hand, then you can just DDR right back and get your big monster. Or because of how big banishing is in the meta now anyway, you're probably going to get your monsters in the graveyard banished if they just try to pull off an effect, so then you can just pull them back if needs be. You've probably noticed that Celestial is like the only spell and trap removal, and I mean, there's a reason. It's because usually you're trying to kill them as fast as possible, but there's a copy of Cosmic Cyclone to banish a spell or trap, so if it's something as well, like I think it's Super Team Buddy Force as an example, that has an effect where if you don't activate the card and it gets sent to the grave, instead it has an alternate effect. Because it's banished, that's not happening. And then Royal Decree is the only trap, and it negates all other traps. So you're not going to be shooting yourself in the foot with this, but on top of that, you can be negating things like Infinite Impermanence, I believe. It says on the field, and I think it counts because you have to play it from your hand onto the field. I don't know though, don't quote me. But any other traps, it'll just straight up stop. Right, so the extra deck, got Extra Hero Cross Crusader. This can bring back a Destiny hero from the grave, so Disc Commander is another good one, another good use for that, get the +2 draw. Then you can tribute that same one straight away, and then just search any hero and bring that to your hand. To bring this out, it's just 2 warrior monsters, so that can be any of your generics like Junk Forward or Marauding Captain as well. Then we have extra hero Dread Decimator. This is 2+ hero monsters with a 3 link. So basically, I usually go for the extra hero Cross Crusader, bring out a monster from the grave, tribute it, get the search, then with whatever I've got left, sweep up that, sweep up the other monster, because they're both usually weak monsters that I don't want to be leaving alone on the field, and then bring it out into a big buff Dread Decimator, who's getting +100 for each hero, and also the 3 monsters it points to, if there are any. If not, hopefully you can get some monsters there next turn if this guy survived, and they can all be hella strong. Especially because the Cross Crusader, bringing the monster and tributing it, is 1 monster. That's a guaranteed 1 monster. And then this monster and whatever else you use to make it, that's a guaranteed 300 buff, but let's face it, it's going to be a lot more like 1,000 attack point boost for all of them, which is very good, just as a bonus. Oh, and also they do piercing damage, which is kind of nice. Wonder Driver, never really use this one. I think 2 heroes is a bit much, maybe 1 level 6 hero or something, so it's just Malicious that can bring it, I don't know. It's still good though. Basically, if a hero monster is normal special summon to this zone that it points to, you get a mask change or polymerization from your grave and set it. Obviously, it's most of the time going to be mask change because you're having to set it, so then you can activate it on your opponent's turn. But it's alright. The only problem is that it's a weak monster and it doesn't have much self-protection. If it is destroyed by battle, which, let's face it, it's probably just going to get bombed by an effect, to be honest. But if it is, then you can, like, you can special summon a hero from your hand. I mean, to be honest, you're probably keeping a hero in your hand for, like, a next turn setup, or it's not going to be good on its own yet, so that doesn't really come into play often in my experience. Then we've got some generic ones. We've got Ferocious Flame Swordsman, which is 2 monsters with different names, so you can use Mathematician, Junk Forward, Marauding Captain, or any of the heroes. He buffs all warriors by 500 attack, and if it dies, you get to, like, do some fancy stuff with a hero in the grave. You can target a non-link in your grave and special summon it if it's a warrior. Why do I use Ferocious Flame Swordsman? I hear you crying out, it's not a very good link monster. It's alright, but it's not great. Why do I do it? Again, like the Wonder Driver, if I have like a Vion that's used its effects in defense, or a Shadow Mist that ain't going to get sent to the grave by itself, I can sweep them up, put it into a nice little monster that's not as weak as them, and it can help my other monsters in battle. Again, it's not supposed to be used on its own, it's just to sweep up the other monsters that you don't want to be left out that can be a danger to you. Because obviously if you leave, like if you have, let's say 4 really strong masked heroes on the field, but then you also have a 100 attack monster with no effect that can help you in attack mode, they're going to attack that and you're going to lose. So obviously you can sweep it up, basically. Then we've got Linkuriboh. If you can't get the revival of a Disc Commander, and your hand is just full of Disc Commander, because you put 2 in the deck, like me, for some reason. Yeah, I know, probably shouldn't have put 2, but oh well, I put in 2. Basically, you can just turn it into a Linkuriboh, which is a nice little stall monster that can mess around with your opponents and make them not want to attack. On top of that, that is instantly sending it to the graveyard. All 3 level 1s, which is Dreamer and the 2 Disc Commanders, benefit from being in the grave. So if you have them and there's no way to send them to the grave in any other way, just bring out Link Karibo. There's no downside. You're just getting a free Link monster that's a bit of a pain in the ass for your opponent, and they are now happily in the grave. Heroes are very good at spamming, obviously, and swarming the field. So, 5-headed Link Dragon. This is basically just, I've got too many monsters, none of them are that very good, or my monsters are strong, but not strong enough to beat a Blue Eyes, so I'll put them all into this, and hope that my opponent doesn't have something to negate it. It's like a last resort that you don't want to be using, but it's there if you need it, and it's in the extra deck. It's not like one that you have to rely on drawing. So it's nice that way, but if you're losing, you're probably not going to have 5 monsters. It's just like an optional thing that sometimes comes around, and when it does, it's actually very nice, but sometimes it doesn't. But I basically had a free slot because other cards were underperforming, so I just thought I'll just put this in there as a last resort that might be helpful. Got Predaplant Verte Anaconda, obvious, pay 2,000, only 2 effect monsters needed, everything's effect. And you get your Miracle Fusion, send it to the grave, or your Poly, and get the free fusion. The 2 ones that can be brought out from Miracle Fusion are Gaia and Escuriado. Escuriado is more of a sweep up. Gaia can help defeat big monsters in battle by halving and then gaining that attack. Basically just big beat sticks, both of them. Dystopia is nice. I've already gone over. Dynatag can buff it if you use Dynatag to make it, and then it can use that added attack to do some damage. Then it can remove it because it's going to lose it soon anyway, and then get another destruction for free. Great at wiping the field, and it's solid at 2,800. That's not something to be laughed at all. Masked Heroes. Dark Law, big interruption. This is usually your turn 1 or early game 1. Stops them from searching as much, and everything that goes to the grave is banished, so they're not going to get their graveyard effects. Very good against things like Whitestone of Ancients, and with the new Blue Eyes White Dragon cards coming out in Legendary Duelist Season 2, you're going to see a lot more Blue Eyes, so get ready with your Dark Claws to just banish all their eggs and stop them playing Whitestone of Ancients. Mask Hero Anki, if he destroys a monster, he gets you another quick mask change, so then you can turn him into the Dark Claw and then get another attack. Or, if needs be, he can halve his attack temporarily and attack directly, if you just need the 1,400 for the win. And then you've got, because we've got Wild Heart and Solid Soldier, Diane, 2,800. If it destroys a monster, it can bring out a little dude, and then you can mask change that, or if not, just attack with it. Usually you're going to be bringing out, I don't know, Wild Heart. That's the best bet to bring out with this, because it's like your strongest level 4 hero that's just kind of a hero with attack points rather than using it for effect. And then we do have 2 Xyz monsters. Utopia, this can help negate things like, what's it, Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, I believe. That basically just keeps gaining attack constantly. You could stop that attack, it won't gain any attack this turn, and because it got negated, it can't attack twice that turn. So it just puts a hole in the play. But the main reason you're running 39 Utopia is because you can instantly, as soon as you bring it out, just put S39 Utopia, the lightning on top. They can't do anything in terms of effects when this guy's battling. And on top of that, you can remove Utopia as a material and one of Utopia's materials, and buff this guy up to 5,000. Now don't forget that